Goodbye, my friend, it's time to go. All the fun we had, yes, I know. We had joy, we had fun, you lent me money by the ton. But now the time has come to stand alone and we are done. Yeah, PayPal working capital. I'm almost done. As we can see here, 96% paid off, which is really, really good, and I'm really, really pleased about it. Now, most people have probably heard of PayPal working capital by now because there's been plenty of videos made about it. I was spouting on about it when I used to make videos all those years ago. And it's been an integral part of my business ever since. Excuse me, I'm just pouring myself a bottle of wine. Yeah, so what is it? How does it work? What use can it be? What are the pitfalls? What are the good parts about it, as well as the bad? And basically, what is working capital and how do you get one? Yeah, well, PayPal working capital is a cash advance that PayPal do based on your current earnings and projected future earnings. They lend you money up to 30% of your business turnover for the previous 12 months. They lend you up to 30%, and you can pay this back in various amounts. So what happens is like you'll apply for a loan and they'll give you a figure, and then they'll give you options to what percentage of your future sales you can pay back to clear off the money you owe them plus the charge. First of all, there is a criteria for this. You've got to have had a PayPal business account, not a personal account, for 3 months minimum. And you've got to have put a minimum of £9,000 through PayPal. And they lend you up to, like I said before, up to 30%, and 150k is the maximum that they'll lend out for some really, really big and successful businesses. Is 150,000, but obviously you'd have to be turning over a vast amount of money to get that. So yeah, PayPal working capital. What's it done for me personally? Well, I've just got a few screens up here, and I've got my first working capital, which was this one. Cash advance amount £1,000. The cash advance fee was £97, and I paid £1,097. And if we look at that, I was paying it back at a 10% repayment percentage, so basically 10% of my sales, including the postage, by the way, to pay that. And it took me 103 days, and my average repayment was £10.65. So obviously during that time I was doing an average of £100 a day. This was the very, very first one I had back in 2015, March to July. And I can remember it coming through. I remember I was shopping at a charity shop, actually. I was looking at charity shops in my hometown, near where I live. And I get an email through on the phone, and look at it, PayPal. Oh, we can give you a working capital. And at the time, the business was very, very small. I was trying to get out of the taxi business. And basically, anybody who'd lend me money, I would take it to get this business going, because I knew this was my last chance. Otherwise I was going to be stuck in taxi driving till I was an old man, and get worse and worse in terms of my financial standing in the world. So they offered me £1,000. I thought, yeah. So what happened was, I borrowed this money, and this elevated me at the time to stop shopping the charity shops, a little bit less than the car boots, and I suddenly went into the world of buying at auction at the time. And this gave me a little bit of spending power, and I got a couple of nice lots at the time for this, and it pushed me on to the next level. Now, that only took me March, April, May, June, July, so 5 months to pay back. The next time I borrowed one, they lent me £2,500 with a cash advance fee of £229. So again, a little bit more spending money. 4th of July to the 20th of November, again in 2015, so July, August, September, October, November, 4 and a bit months. 136 days, and I paid that back, if we look there, £20, 7p a day, but I was paying back 20% on that one. I decided to up the percentage because I didn't really feel the 10% going out of my account, to tell you the truth. And I wanted to pay it off quicker. I've had several of these, by the way, as you'll see. So the next one was 21st of November, the day after I took the last one out, and I got £4,000 with a flat fee of £402. So again, it's about 10% of the loan. Total amount repaid £4,402, and that took 177 days at a 20% repayment, average repayment daily of £24 a day. So obviously my turnover's gone up because the last one I was paying an average of £20 a day on 20%. This one had gone up to £24 a day. So the capital was working. It was putting more money into the stock, and that money was being translated into increased sales. Then 20th of May 2016 to the 6th of December 2016, they gave me £6,500, and they charged me a cash advance fee of £545. The advance fee had come down on this, a little bit less than 10%, probably about 9% that. And again, I was paying 25% back on this, and it took 197 days at £35 a day. So still an increase in sales, even though there's an increase in the repayment percentage. And then I took another one out on the 7th of December to the 20th of April 2017. They gave me £6,500 again. I thought they would have put this one up a little bit because the takings had increased, but obviously they didn't. It seems to vary from time to time what you get on these loans. It's really, really weird. But the repayment, the cash advance fee was £475, so that had come down by £65, £6,975. And if we look, I paid it in 131 days, average of £53 a day. So obviously the turnover in my business was really, really ramping up by then. 53%, so I was averaging £200 a day turnover at the time. Where are we now? There should be a £7,000 one here. Just let me have a look. History. Yeah, here we are. So, 20th of April 2017 to 25th of September 2017, they lent me £7,000, again with a fee of £637, so £7,637 to pay back. And it was at 20%, and it lasted for 155 days, £49.27 average daily payment. So again, I was averaging about £200 a day turnover, according to that, which was roughly about the same as the last time. And then, on the 25th of September 2017 to the 12th of March 2018, big jump. They lent me £13,000 up from 7, so we've got an extra 6,000. And they've let me they've charged me 1,441, so we're back over that 10% flat fee. I was a bit shocked by this. I wasn't expecting that much. And I repaid that at £37, 30%, and our average repayment was £87 a day. So there's a big jump in turnover there. 30% of 87, so divide that by 3, that is sort of like 27. It's about £250, £260 a day average. And then we get to the current one, which, like as I say here, they lent me 21,000 with a 2,500 fee, so again over 10%, 25% payback, and I've repaid £22,662.97 to date. And if we look here, average repayment of £66.46, so times that by 4, 240, about 265, 270 a day average over the time that this one's been out, which I took it out in March and it's nearly finished now. So yeah, this is the final one. I don't really need another one now, even though it's always tempting with these working capitals, because basically you apply, you click a button, and suddenly there's £20,000 plus in your PayPal account. But I must say, these have got to be used with the right intentions in mind, because if you're just borrowing it to supplement your living costs if for whatever reason you're not earning enough money on eBay, and it's just like getting a cash advance on your wages, you'll never ever get straight, or it'll take you a long time to get straight. If you use it to buy a car, yeah, that could be a reasonable purchase. Obviously, if you didn't use all of it to buy a car, if you use some of it, because if you didn't have a car previously, that'd allow you to get to places where you couldn't get before to buy stock. But the main benefit of this is giving you a large lump sum that you can actually go out and buy bigger and better stock every time. And if you do that and you buy sensibly, it can be a really, really good way of growing your business. I mean, when I first started on the £1,000, I probably had £10,000 worth of stock listed. So if we'd have got all the way up to now, and I still had £10,000 worth of stock listed, you'd say, well, working capital, yeah, it's paid for your living expenses, but that's been about it. You've been too busy paying it back, and you've not made any growth in your business. You've still got £10,000 worth of stock listed at the end of it. So basically, you're just borrowing your own money ahead of time and paying for the privilege of it. But we currently have £312,000 worth of stock listed. Obviously, that's retail, nowhere near what we paid for it. But there's £312,000 worth listed, and we've probably got over £100,000 worth not listed. So we've gone from a business that had £10,000 worth of listed stock to a business that's got 300,000 and another 100,000, probably £400,000 worth of stock, all the time while paying back the working capital because we've used it to buy stock. The latest one now, we pay a thick end of £2,000 to £2,500 a month in repayments. So obviously, when this is finished in another couple of weeks, which it will be, because we only owe, what's it say we owe there? Can't see, 883, but there's a lot of money to go off that yet. Sorry about that. We've got 119, 13 and a 1, so that's 129, 132, 133 to go off that. So we actually owe 750 at the moment. sometimes the payments are pending, especially over the weekend. So once this is paid off, like the final 750, we'll have an extra couple of grand a month coming in. So we can self-finance now, because I can buy plenty of stock with £2,000 a month. Plus, also, while we've been paying this back, even though we spent the initial amount, we've been able to buy stock throughout the year while we've been paying it back anyway, from our own takings. So basically, that's the correct use. I mean, it's a really, really good tool for expansion if used properly. I'll never slag it off, because it's really, really helped us in our business. But, and it's a massive, massive but, it's got to be used correctly. If you don't use it correctly, if you don't use it for stock, you will come unstuck in the long run. You'll find yourself perpetually borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and never really growing the takings to sort of like pay for it. I mean, if you can borrow this working capital and pay it back and grow your turnover, you'll actually find the growth in turnover will pay for the working capital. So if it's used properly, it's great, but if it's not used properly, it could potentially be a disaster. Tempted? Am I tempted to take another one out? Probably, yeah, I am. For no other reason than it's just nice to have a big lump of money in your bank account. But our money builds up month by month anyway. But I mean, with an extra couple of thousand a month going in, it won't be long before I've built up enough money to have that big wad of cash there for the really, really big job lots. I would recommend it to anyone, really. I don't think it's going to be going for much longer, because obviously the deal with eBay, that they changed the payment system, it's going to affect working capital. But I would just like to say, yeah, thank you, PayPal. You've really helped me with my business. Yeah, I've paid for it, but it's been worth it. I know a lot of other people use the working capital and got a lot out of it. I know others who've used it and not really got a lot out of it because they've used it for the wrong thing. But, yeah, PayPal working capital. I think it's a positive. It gets a Ken Chapman's thumbs up. Glad to see that there's been a few references to the hippie commune from my last video in several online YouTube videos this week. So glad to see you watching, and we love a thumbs down just as much as a thumbs up. We couldn't care less, because our videos aren't monetized. See you later. Bye 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 bye.